In a small town nestled between rolling hills and whispering streams, there lived a woman named Clara. Clara had always been the kind of person who wore a smile like a second skin. She greeted her neighbors with cheerful waves and exchanged pleasantries with the barista at the local cafe, where she often ordered her favorite caramel macchiato. On the surface, Clara's life appeared idyllic, filled with laughter and light. But beneath that cheerful exterior lay a labyrinth of unexpressed emotions, each twist in turn a testament to her struggle with vulnerability. Growing up, Clara had been taught that showing feelings was a sign of weakness. Her parents, well-meaning but emotionally reserved, had instilled in her the belief that life was best navigated with a stiff upper lip. "Keep your chin up, Clara," her mother would say, her voice a blend of encouragement and caution. "Don't let anyone see you cry." And so, Clara learned to tuck her sadness, frustration, and fear deep within herself, wrapping them in layers of smiles and laughter. She became an expert at deflecting emotions, turning every inquiry about her well-being into a light-hearted joke. It wasn't until Clara reached her 30s that the weight of her unexpressed feelings began to take its toll. The facade she had carefully constructed started to crack under the pressure. She found herself feeling more isolated, despite being surrounded by friends and family. The laughter that once came easily began to feel forced, and the joy she used to find in simple moments faded into a dull ache of disconnect. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day at work, Clara sat alone in her living room, staring at the walls that had witnessed her silent struggles. It was in that moment of solitude that she felt a stirring deep within her, a longing for emotional honesty. That night, Clara made a decision. She would embark on a journey to embrace her feelings, to allow herself to experience the full spectrum of human emotion without fear or judgment. The next day she started small. During lunch with her friend Sarah, who had always been a supportive presence in her life, Clara found herself overwhelmed with the urge to share her truth. As they sat across from each other, Clara took a deep breath and said, "You know, I haven't been okay for a while. I felt lost and disconnected, and I'm tired of pretending." To her surprise, Sarah didn't recoil or dismiss her feelings. Instead, she leaned in closer, her eyes filled with understanding. "I'm so glad you told me," she said softly. "I've felt that way too, and it's okay to not be okay." In that moment, Clara felt an unexpected release, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. They talked for hours, sharing their fears and insecurities, and Clara realized that vulnerability could be a bridge rather than a barrier. Encouraged by this newfound connection, Clara began to explore her emotions more deeply. She started journaling, pouring her heart onto the pages, allowing herself to feel sadness when it arose and joy when it bloomed. She discovered that each emotion was like a wave, rising and falling, and that resisting them only made the tides more tumultuous. Instead, she learned to ride those waves, to let them wash over her without fear of being swept away. As Clara embraced her emotional honesty, she noticed a shift in her relationships. Friends began to open up to her in ways they hadn't before, sharing their own struggles and triumphs. Clara became a safe space for others, a listener who understood the complexities of the human experience. The conversations deepened, and laughter became richer, infused with authenticity. Clara found fulfillment not just in being heard, but in hearing others, in the shared vulnerability that connected them all. One day, while sitting on a park bench, Clara observed a young girl playing with a kite. The child's laughter rang through the air, pure and unfiltered. Clara felt a pang of nostalgia, remembering the carefree days of her childhood when expressing joy came as naturally as breathing. In that moment, she realized that emotional honesty wasn't just about revealing pain, it was also about celebrating joy without reservation. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to feel the warmth of the sun on her face, embracing the simple pleasure of being alive. As the seasons changed, so did Clara. She learned to express her emotions in various ways, through art, music, and even dance. She took up painting, splattering colors onto canvas with wild abandon, each stroke a release of pent-up feelings. She joined a community choir, finding solace in the harmonies that resonated with her soul. Each note became a testament to her journey, a celebration of the emotions she had once feared. Clara's life transformed into a tapestry of experiences woven together by threads of emotional honesty. She discovered that expressing her feelings brought clarity and simplicity to her life. The burdens she had carried for so long began to lift, replaced by a sense of lightness and freedom. She no longer felt the need to wear a mask. Instead, she embraced her authentic self, flaws and all. As she sat in her favorite cafe one afternoon, sipping her caramel macchiato, Clara reflected on her journey. She had learned that emotional honesty was not merely an act of bravery, it was a pathway to a more fulfilling life. By allowing herself to feel and express her emotions, she had opened the door to deeper connections, richer experiences, and a profound sense of peace. In the end, Clara understood that life was not about avoiding pain or chasing constant happiness. It was about embracing the full spectrum of emotions, finding beauty in the highs and lows, and allowing herself to be human. With every tear shed and every laugh shared, she had discovered the simplicity of being true to herself, and in that truth, she found her greatest joy.